Hey there, I'm Mr. Terry, a high school history teacher. Welcome back to another History Teacher Reacts video. All right, it's time for a new channel to cover because this guy's channel has been plaguing my video suggestions box over on Discord. Now, he is called The Fat Electrician, and I went into his description. He says, I'm Nick. I'm a former 68W medic, currently a journeyman electrician, and a jiu-jitsu coach. He sounds pretty cool to me. All right, so the video I'm going to be checking out caught my eye. It's called Winter Soldier ODs on Meth Becomes Unkillable. Aimo Koivunen. All right, it looks like we've got one of them insane Finnish soldiers from World War II. Original video link's going to be down below. Make sure you support it if you like this original video. And let's check this out one. All right, I got no idea what to expect. Let's check this guy out.
Military Special Forces guys doing meth while skiing. Did I get your attention? Today we're talking about Aimo Koivunen, the Finnish Special Forces soldier that took his entire unit's supply of crank and then proceeded to troll the Soviets and himself for 2 weeks about it.
By the way, you cannot sleep when you're in war. You got to be up at all types of crazy hours. You've got crazy anxiety. They would just drug these guys up so bad. Everybody.
Oh, let's get to this story. March 18th, 1944, Aimo and his friends, a small group of Special Forces Finnish soldiers, have just finished conducting a 3-day-long ski patrol and are returning back to base when they are ambushed by an entire platoon of Soviet soldiers.
By the way, this is an Olympic event now, right? The Nordic countries and then like Finland are good at this too. You ski and then you shoot guns. It's perfect for like these guys that, you know, they're so much of their lives were based off of like hunting, and then you get, of course, warfare. So you gotta be able to cross country ski and shoot. It seems like such a random pairing, but you can actually see the historical like context of it.
Ski patrol and are returning back to base when they are ambushed by an entire platoon of Soviet soldiers. They have nowhere near enough men to fight back. They have to retreat and get away. In order to do so, they go off the beaten path and attempt to blaze their own trail through unpacked snow. Aimo, as fate would have it, would be the point man, having to do the majority of the work as far as beating down the unpacked snow goes. Now, they've been out skiing for 3 days straight. Everybody's exhausted, but the level of work that Aimo is having to dish out is almost unbearable, and he's unable to set a pace that is going to allow them to escape. And the Soviets are catching up. So Aimo decides to take the high road, reaches into his pocket and pulls out a bottle, and inside of that bottle is all of his and his buddy's supply of Pervitin. Aimo had been given all of it because everybody knew that Aimo didn't care for taking Pervitin, and this meant that Aimo would keep it safe and nobody else would dip into it when they weren't supposed to.
So he was the good boy. He was the good boy. Here, you take it because the rest of us can't. The rest of us can't be trusted. All right, what the heck goes wrong?
And if you don't know, Pervitin is the German miracle drug
Basically
that came
meth.
out in 1938, also known as meth.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, this isn't
Nazis
like
were into
Jesse
that
Pinkman
too.
cooking it in the back of a van, putting chili powder in it. This is high-quality pharmaceutical grade nose torque, okay? This is inhalable horsepower, and this man's about to take some.
Goddamn right.
So Aimo pops off the lid, and he wants to dump a single pill into his hand, which is the recommended
the
dose.
trailer
The
park
problem
stuff.
is the Pervitin has been sitting in his pocket, half of it warm against his body, the other half getting cold against the outside of his jacket, and it is now congealed into one gigantic meth nugget, and the whole nugget falls into his mitten. He's unable to break.
It's still one meth, you know? It's like when all the nachos get stuck together. It's still one nacho. He's taking one meth.
Break off a singular piece because, well, he has mittens on and he doesn't have the dexterity, so he says, fuck it, and eats the entire nugget of meth, which was roughly 30 pills at one point.
God.
Okay, fast forward like 45 seconds.
not
Aimo
die?
feels incredible. He is a new man. He has gone from dragging ass to tripping balls, and he has had a life-altering revelation that he's been put on this planet to do 2 things and 2 things only, and that is to outrun the Soviets and steal catalytic converters, and those aren't even going to be invented for like another 35 years. So guess what we're doing? We're outrunning these
For real though, getting your catalytic converter stolen is awful. It happened to my dad once. It happened at the garage, or like not like his garage, the like mechanic shop. Apparently somebody got in and was like stealing them from a bunch of them. Be careful. Make sure your mechanics have a good locked up stuff, because those converters are also super expensive. I'm liking the guy's personality. He's got a good flow to him. And yeah, he's right about, you know, the extensive use of meth all over the place.
Soviets. This man begins blazing a path through unpacked snow quicker than anybody ever has, ever. And the Soviets are just watching these guys take off like a rocket, like...
No one can probably keep up.
Over the course of the
Spaceballs.
next hour, they managed to outrun the Soviets so bad that they just gave up. So they
Dude, you
finally
don't even need
stopped, they
skis.
regrouped, they wanted to see if anybody had been shot, they wanted to make sure everybody was doing okay before they carried on with their mission and journeyed back home. At that
You know what? Okay. First off, if you haven't heard about this stuff, you know, the Winter War, okay, specifically between, you know, the Soviet Union and Finland in World War II is very, very understudied by probably Western countries, again, like the United States, because it's on kind of that front. It's, you know, Finland was kind of doing their own thing, you know what I mean? And it really was kind of between those two. But there are some incredible stories. I think we've all heard about the White Death. Okay, with Simo, that incredible sniper. There, every time I learn more about the Winter War, I hear more and more of these like cool stories. So let me know if you got other ones too.
point, IMO did not sit still. He was pacing, he's walking around, he's talking to
Think of the
himself,
crash,
and that's
though,
when
we
his
have.
buddies realized, oh boy, IMO is higher than draft pussy on a fucking extension ladder. We got to do something. So they decide it's probably a good idea to take away all of his ammunition
Not
and
safe
his
for
knife
school?
so he doesn't hurt himself or somebody else. So they take the ammo away from him, they
NSFS?
turn around, they go to put it in somebody else's backpack so they can carry it, turn back around, IMO is fucking gone. Fast forward an unspecified amount of time
He's
later,
lost
and
his
IMO
mind.
wakes up, looks around, has no idea where he is. You see, IMO had blacked out. And when I say blacked out, I don't mean he laid
Can't
down and
imagine.
fell asleep. I mean he proceeded to ski 62 miles in a random direction and then laid down and fell asleep. And he is now just waking up, realizing that he has no recollection of which direction he went or came from, and he has no
no.
idea where he is.
Oh no, hopefully somebody's been navigating there. Why did IMO just like, okay, he got the nugget. He could have stopped for a second, get a knife out and just maybe like shave off what would essentially be one tablet worth of this stuff. He was just really like, F it.
At this point, a Soviet soldier hops out from behind a tree and begins shooting at IMO. IMO panics, gets to his feet, grabs his gun,
can
lifts
he have
it, fires at the Soviet
How can he have
soldier.
the coherency?
Click, fuck. His friends had taken all of his ammunition.
Oh, God.
So he grabs his empty gun and throws it at the Soviet soldier. It hits him and he explodes into a pile of snow. IMO, what the fuck? Looks up. Oh, it was just a tree branch covered in snow the whole time. He is now hallucinating. So
he's tripping. He's tripping balls now. That's so funny. Just yeah. Ah! Or I mean, first it was click, nothing. Oh, nothing.
So, not really knowing what else
That's
to do,
hilarious.
he straps his skis back on and proceeds to ski around looking for his friends or anything, really. And after an
He's
hour or two,
separated.
thank God, he sees his friend's camp off in the distance and they have a fire going. It's all gonna be okay. We're good. He's gonna be saved. So IMO takes off skiing towards the camp. He's skiing. IMO skis right into the middle of the camp. Cool guy power slide. Friends, did you miss me? He looks at his buddies. His buddies look at him. He looks at his buddies. Those aren't his buddies. Those are the Soviets. Shit. Time to go. IMO takes off again. The
He's into
Soviets
the
attempt
camp?
to chase him for a little bit, but I mean, the man is basically tweakers on ice right now. You've got no chance at actually catching him. So, IMO then proceeds to ski until he's tired, and then he lays down and goes to sleep just on the ground outside.
They
He wakes
chase
up,
him or find
it's
him?
dark out, he can't see anything, and he realizes, hey, I'm hungry. So, he gets a fire going, and then he walks around, grabbing some pine buds and leaves and whatever else he can find, sticking it
can
in his
burn.
canteen cup, grabs some snow, puts that in there, cooks it over the fire, and kind of mashes it all together in this like pine bud stew gruel type thing. He eats it, he thinks it's
Gross.
fucking delicious, one of the best meals he's ever had because, well, meth. Then he goes back to bed.
The same effect of somebody doing any other drugs, weed or something, smoking weed or something. It's just like you get the munchies, everything's good. You know what would be good? These leaves and the sap from this tree. This is going to be great.
Wakes
Let's
back
go.
up, still full of energy, decides that he's gonna go look for his buddies more. He skis around, he skis and he skis all day long, and then he finds a cabin. He walks up to the cabin, grabs a doorknob.
Random
It's
cabin?
real. It's not a hallucination. So, next thing, he strips all the copper out of it. No, I'm just kidding. He opens the door because it's unlocked, because this is a tradition in this part of the world where there's, you know, people could freeze to death. You just leave the cabin unlocked in case somebody is in IMO's situation. You don't want them to freeze to death. So, IMO goes inside, he gets a fire going. Now, because of the meth, IMO elects to light the fire in the middle of the cabin on the floor rather than in the fireplace because, you know, obviously. He then proceeds to go to bed, and all throughout the night, the fire keeps getting hotter and hotter, so he keeps like shimmying away from it and shimmying away from it over and over again. And then finally, his back hits a wall, and he wakes up
cabin's
and
on
realizes
fire.
that the entire cabin is on fire. So he's like, shit. So he gets up, goes outside the cabin, puts his back against the wall of the outside of the cabin,
do
and
what?
then goes back to sleep. Meth. So IMO
Don't do drugs, kids. I guess even if you're at least and you've had this pharmacy, the pharmacy prescribed drugs, don't take the whole bottle. So he builds it in the middle, starts a fire. He is roasting while he's tripping. Oh my God. Is this guy going to survive?
Wakes up again.
I
It's
have no
dark
idea.
out.
I'm
He hears
intrigued.
growling off in the distance as there's a pair of yellow eyes staring at him. He looks behind him. The cabin completely burnt to a crisp as
Who's the
these
owner?
eyes keep getting closer and closer, and there's growling. And out of the shadows leaps Hugh Jackman. Wait, what the fuck?
Wolverine.
Sorry, Wolverine, not the Wolverine. A Wolverine. Still, I mean, it's better, but not a lot better. Okay, this thing is 65
I like
pounds
this guy.
of teeth, claws, fur,
Oh my God.
and bad attitude.
See,
And
it was the Wolverine's cabin. He's pissed. This was his
This thing will
home.
absolutely kill Imo if Imo lets it. Imo is now in a fight for his life, so he pulls out his knife and begins fighting a fucking Wolverine while tripping out on meth. He is kicking and punching and stabbing this Wolverine, and he finally gets on top of the Wolverine as he straddles it and plunges his knife into the Wolverine's chest as the life from the Wolverine leaves its body and it falls limp to the ground. At that point,
Sag.
Imo remembers, wait a minute, my friends took my knife. He looks at his knife. That's not his knife. That's his compass, and now it's broke. Shit. I mean, also kind of cool though, because he just killed
badass.
a Wolverine with a compass. He looks down at the dead Wolverine. He's sitting on top of a log. He had hallucinated the entire thing again. Meth. So I'm
I wish that was true, but it's like it's still funny though that he had to get tripping so hard that he made that even it being made up made that brilliant there, because we probably would have believed anything so far.
Imo gets up off the log that he just killed, looking around, not knowing what to do. In the darkness of night, he sees a fire off in the distance. So he straps on his skis and
But is
starts
it a
making
fire?
his way towards that fire. And he's skiing, and he's skiing, and he's skiing all night long, and he's going, and he's going, and this fucking fire is not getting any closer. It's almost like it's running from him, and he keeps going towards it and towards it longer and longer. And finally,
Assume he's
dawn
tripping.
breaks, and Imo realizes that he's been chasing the North Star, thinking it was a fire for like the last 8 hours. Because meth.
So I'm waiting for this guy to go just ham on some commies, I guess, from the Soviet Union. It just keeps happening, and his hallucinations and his tripping is just getting further and further. You know, I hope that when they actually were like medically prescribing this stuff in the trenches and whatnot, that they were much more careful, because you're gonna have some dude tripping, running out in no man's land or something like that, putting everybody's lives at jeopardy. I hope this stuff was highly supervised.
So now it's morning. Imo still has no idea where he's going, so it's like, well, better find some copper. I mean, my friends. He's got to find his friends, so he just starts skiing
make that
around
cash.
looking for any signs of human life at this point. And he's skiing and he's
By
skiing.
the way, this is
and
going
he's
in my World War
and he's
II
going,
lesson.
And he finally comes
story.
across this abandoned German forward observational base, and he starts making his way towards it. The problem with this was, whenever the Germans abandoned something in World War II, they usually booby-trapped it, and that's what happened
Yeah.
here, because Imo skis over a landmine, blowing
Yep.
up his foot, throwing him to the ground, and Imo's like, that's it, I'm dead for sure, there's no way I'm making
No,
it out of
he can
this, and he
overcome
just
without a
lays
foot.
there. We have no idea how long he laid there. He said he laid there for a week, but that dude's high as a kite on meth. He could have been there for 45 minutes. We have no idea.
You have no sense of time with that. Hey, he's totally true about they would trip up, you know, like put trip mines and stuff in base like that. That was notorious in World War One, because if you had to retreat your and this is World War II, of course, but like in World War One, the Germans did that a lot with their trenches, because trench warfare was all about moving forward like a ladder. You know, if you were laying a ladder on the ground, moving rungs forward and rungs back, and then when you got back, sometimes it was stuff that you had to leave behind too, because you just didn't have the time or the, you know, vehicles or whatever it is to move some stuff. Right. And of course, somebody that goes into an enemy trench is going to be looking for weapons, they're going to be looking for food and stuff like that. So, yeah, common tactic in warfare, World War I and II.
But he lays there and he lays there, literally too high to die, and then he just gets bored and he's like, fine, I'll live. And he gets up and he starts
Fine.
walking back towards the base again. He makes it all the way to the building, you know, grabs a doorknob. Well, at least the base is real. The landmine sure as fuck was real. The base better be real. The base is real, grabs a doorknob, opens the door. That's booby trap 2. Blows
God.
up in his face, yeets him 30 yards the other direction.
Oh my God.
As he lands flat on his
lived?
back with the door on top of him. And he's like, okay, now for sure, I'm gonna die. There's no way I'm making it out of this. I'm done. And he just lays there. He completely gives up and he just waits for death to come get him. And he's laying there, and 1 day passes, and 2 days pass, and 3 and
Actual
4 and
days
5
this
and
time?
6, 7 days pass. And he's still just laying there like,
Not dead.
this is taking forever. And then finally, some Finnish soldiers come up and are like, hey, do you want some help? And he's like, holy shit, yeah, that'd be great. So the Finnish guys start making their way over to him, and then one of them steps on a fucking landmine. And then the other two Finnish soldiers are like, well, we can only save one of you, and we're gonna save the guy that we came with. If we get this guy saved, we'll let him know to come back and save you later. Peace, goodbye. And just left him laying there again. So he thinks to himself, maybe if I can survive a couple more days, I might actually make it out of this. So he starts trying. He gets a little fire going next to him. He starts melting snow in his canteen cup to drink water to hydrate. A Siberian Jay at some point lands next to him, and he takes a ski pole and smacks it to death, pulls the Siberian Jay over to him, grabs it, and just Ozzy Osbourne's this bird raw, just eats the whole thing, trying to get any amount of calories inside of it.
Kids, you know that was the famous thing they said about Ozzy. Is it even confirmed? Like, he actually did that with live stuff, that he'd bite the head off a bird for some reason between songs.
And then after 3 more days, they come back and they save Imo, and he completely blacks out. Imo comes to, he's in a Finnish hospital where he's informed that he has been missing for 14 days, and they found him 250 miles from where he originally departed his friends. He now weighs a mere 95 pounds and has a resting heart rate currently of 200 beats per minute, 14 days after taking all of the meth. So Imo proceeds to do the logical thing, makes a full recovery, and lives a long, happy life until passing away at 71 in 1989, because he's Finnish and that's just how they get down. Yeah, if you're not picking up what I'm trying to tell you, this man actually may have seen Star Wars, the original series, in theater, okay? Could you imagine him taking his kids to the movie theater just being like, we didn't call it the Force back in my day. We called it Pervidin. Seriously, it's pretty funny that the only 2 Finnish soldiers that I know off the top of my head are Imo and Simo Hoya. Simo, deadliest sniper of all time, over 500 kills. Imo, the most unkillable tweaker
That's
ever.
all you need to know.
Don't worry, this...
I mean, just based off of that, I'm going to enthrall every kid in my class. And hopefully I get the time to do that. I could short down this story here if I'm tripping. And then it was Simo, you know, deadliest sniper in history. These are great stories. He's got to go in the classroom.
Story keeps going, Matt. Imo's son was interviewed about his dad, to which he said that his dad never really talked much about his time in service, but there was one point later in Imo's life when he decided to write in to a local newspaper that was having a competition for who had the best, craziest military story ever. And he wrote his story down, mailed it in, and he was informed, congratulations, you've got second. How the fuck did this guy get second place with this story?
Well, I was going to say, did they just, like, congratulations, you are a liar and you are full of crap. I mean, the only story that could beat him is Simo, right?
Did Simo Hoya enter the same competition? Because that's the only logical explanation. Other than that there was some Karen on the judge board that was like, I don't know, this story seems a little too unbelievable if you ask me. To which my argument is, look at him. Do you think that guy's lying about this story? Do you really? Because homeboy looks like he's about to hit a T intersection and go straight, okay? That's not hair product. He just moves that fucking fast now. There's no way he's lying about this story, and I'm legitimately mad he didn't win this fucking competition for some reason.
Who won?
Okay, this story's getting out of hand. We need to end this video. I guess, in conclusion, it's important to bear in mind with how incredible this story is that Imo is the exception and not the example. You should not do drugs because they are in fact bad for you.
This should, I know it sounds cool, this should have the exact opposite effect. And yes, even if you are in war, there's no way this guy should be alive. And he could have been a true threat to his you know, fellow troops.
Okay, don't do drugs. Also, don't fight the Finnish in winter in Finland where they have home field advantage. It's just a bad time. Anyways,
it's like the Russians got Russianed. You know how the whole thing, don't invade Russia in the winter? Okay, don't invade Finland. They are a higher rank. The cold boys got defeated by the colder boys.
Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack back.
What does his shirt say? Wait,
anyways,
the one he's...
thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy...
It's never a war crime the first time. Oh my God. Well, if it's a new thing, I guess.
Some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang. Out. So Imo decides to take the high road, and if you don't know,
oh my God, if I did my outtakes, oh gosh, it would be bad. All right, final thoughts, because I got them. All right, great first reaction. I'm hoping here I picked a great. I mean, I love the video, but like this is one of the upper tier videos from Fat Electrician. I don't know. It was great facts. I don't feel like I added a lot, and I was trying to do my best because I try to make things transformative and add stuff to that. This was very much like I was very much the student, and I feel like you were sitting here probably right next to me, you know, and maybe I could hit your shoulder and be like, hey, did you also know this and that, whatever. But very informative there. And yeah, I think those are great stories that I could try to translate into the classroom. But I don't also want my kids to think this was a good idea to take all this meth and go into battle. But I don't know anything to get the kids interested. Anyway, okay, yeah, this channel has been spamming in my by some hardcore fans of this guy into my Discord suggestions, so we'll have to check out more there. What's gonna let me know though that you want to see more of this, if you've stuck this long, is of course to like the video, share with your friends so it gets the views. I base a lot of what I decide to do based off of what is getting viewed, because obviously I want to cover stuff that you all want to cover. So if you would like to see more of this, share the video, you can recommend more of them, and yeah, be a part of this. So, all right, again, original video link is down below. Make sure you support that. I will definitely do this. This guy's got my sub. And with that, we'll see you next time. Bye.